The increase in fuel prices due to the war in Iran has made foreign markets even more attractive for Russian petroleum producers. But to prevent a deficit on the domestic market prior to high seasonal demand and to stabilise fuel prices, the Russian government is imposing a total ban on all exports of gasoline from April the 1st. The restriction applies to all market participants, including large petroleum producers.
The ban, though, does not apply to petrol supplies under international agreements. Crude oil and diesel fuel exports are not banned either, even though these have been seriously affected by recent Ukrainian drone attacks on Russia's refineries and ports. Just last week, Ukraine struck the ports of Primorsk and Ust-Luga on the Baltic Sea, as well as the country's second-largest refinery in the Leningrad region. The attacks partly limited Russia's ability to export oil and oil products. There is a fear now that the level of oil processing and exporting in Russia may decrease in the near future because of the damage caused.
This is not the first time the authorities have imposed a temporary ban on gasoline exports. The previous petrol export restrictions for small refineries were introduced in September last year against the backdrop of record growth in fuel prices and scheduled shutdowns of refineries due to continued Ukrainian drone attacks and a risk of seasonal product shortage in some regions. It was lifted at the end of January in order to avoid a surplus on the domestic market.
As petrol producers have to sell at lower prices inside the country, where prices are significantly lower than internationally, the government compensates them using its so-called fuel damper. But the measure is not helping to reduce the growing discontent among petroleum producers here, who say their expenses are growing by the day. Drivers on the streets of Moscow are also complaining.
I have been a taxi driver for a year, and in that short time, gas prices have gone up about 8% per litre.
Gasoline cannot get cheaper here, so everything else will get more expensive too.
Analysts predict that the gasoline exports ban can slow down domestic price growth, but it will not lead to a serious reduction in prices. And the external market situation will continue to have a negative impact on the Russian petrol market, even without the gasoline exports. Yulia, Shapovalova, Jazeera, Moscow.